Hello, welcome back to True Seekers Tea. My name is Kate and I'm thankful to have you here for today's pick a card reading. We're going to be looking at showing you or telling you what the purpose is of a cycle that you're currently going through. What is the lesson? Why are you going through this? And so regardless of where you are in the cycle, hopefully this can help give you some guidance as to how to kind of close out the cycle if you're still in the middle of it. But if you have already closed out a cycle, I feel like it can give you validation of what you just went through, and just help you process it further. So so other than that, there's not going to be extended readings for the guidance readings. If there's other guidance readings that you guys want, please leave a comment on this video, let me know. I still have like a list of them I want to do, but anyways, so for pile number 1, we have the You Are Magic Tarot with this blue apatite palm stone. For pile number 2, we have the Apparition Tarot with this black tourmaline palm stone. And for pile number 3, we have the Affirmators Tarot with this orange calcite palm stone. So take whatever time you need. Pretty much, I'm going to get right into the reading. And if it just doesn't feel right for you, I would choose a different pile. I am going to say right now, I feel like there's an energy where piles number 2 and 3 are connected. So yeah, if you listen to pile number 2, you might want to listen to pile number 3. And for pile number 3, I'm already aware that they're connected, so I'll tell you, but just thought I would mention that. But yeah, other than that, I'll have the timestamps linked down below. I'll have the names of these decks and any other information about me. So without further ado, I'll see you at your pile. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Every Little Thing You Do Is Magic Tarot in this blue apatite palm stone, then this is going to be your reading where we're going to be looking at what has been the purpose of the cycle that you're currently in or currently closing. So what lesson are you in the process of learning or integrating at this point? I want to do a future reading where we're going to be looking at what's next or what's the next cycle going to be for you. But we're going to start here. So I just want to get my, Palo Santo. Okay, so we got that going. I also zoomed us in a little bit. So Spirit, please tune me into pile number 1's energy. Please tune me into the cycle or the lesson that they're currently learning through this cycle. What has the purpose been of this cycle? What have they been learning? And hopefully this can validate you, can give you direction if you just feel like you're maybe feeling a little bit lost or not sure of what the purpose is of what you're going through. Hopefully this can give a little bit of light to that. Also, I find it helpful as well, even if this is like something you've closed out and you're just kind of still integrating it. I think it can be helpful. So Spirit, please give us honest and concise answers for the highest good of all. What lesson or what has the purpose been of the cycle that they're currently in or closing out? What are they meant to learn and integrate? Okay, we have the Sun in reverse. We have the Chariot. So we have Leo energy and Cancer coming out right away. A lot of major arcana. Also the Hangman underneath. What has the purpose of this cycle been? What have they been learning? This is the King of Wands. What is the purpose then? We have the Moon also in reverse. Interesting. So more Cancer. And also with the King of Wands, that's more fire. So you guys might have fire in your top 3. So Sagittarius, Aries, Leo. Or I'm even getting that, I don't know, maybe some of you guys have a mix of water and fire, and that's something you've been integrating. Yeah, that's when I'm almost getting this energy of learning to balance the two out. Because it feels like if maybe some of the people in this group maybe are more water sign like, or more, because Cancer is of course coming through, but maybe this group either is more prominently very sensitive and intuitive, or maybe you are more prominently kind of fiery and strong in yourself and your outward expression, and you've kind of been balancing the more intuitive side. So it just feels like there's this balancing going on between the sun and the moon. And with Chariot here, it feels like this balancing out has been happening for you to be able to move forward with a level of balance, and to be able, it feels like, to enact some kind of vision of yours, or to maybe step into a leadership position. Yeah, we'll see though. What else for pile number 1? What is the purpose of this cycle, Ben? What are they learning? See the 9 of Swords. See the 7 of Pentacles in reverse. The 5 of Wands here. And this can speak about inner conflict as well, with the 5 of Wands, where maybe you're feeling pulled in different directions, or feeling like maybe it's hard to tell when you're meant to move forward towards some kind of a goal or a vision. Maybe it's like you've been learning how to decipher from your fears and what your fears are telling you versus what's actually in alignment with you authentically, with the sun here as well. And yeah, because with the 7 of Pentacles, it's almost this energy of maybe not knowing when to overcome obstacles, or to take those obstacles as a hint that you're in the wrong direction, if that makes sense. Because with the 9 of Swords, that can speak to us getting in our head and having a lot of fear or anxiety that might be clouding our vision, might be clouding us from honoring where we're meant to go. Or I'm just kind of even imagining that as we go through challenges in life, you know, everything isn't going to be, or as we move towards our goals and we move towards our vision, there are going to be challenges and there are going to be pivots and things like that. But I feel like the main thing that can help you navigate those or know how to handle them is by keeping your vision in your mind. So having that part of you that makes you feel alive or feels authentic to you. And how I feel like if that's super clouded, I feel like it can be hard to persevere or maintain access to the vision. What else for pile number 1? What are they meant to learn through this cycle? What is the purpose of... Okay, we have the Hierophant in reverse here. That's Taurus energy. Yeah, and a lot of this could be around you figuring out it's almost like you differentiating from other teachings and maybe societal conditioning, or what other leaders before you have, what path they've outlined. And I feel like you've been on this journey of learning what's true to you and learning how to decipher whether or not a certain path or a certain way of being is actually in alignment with your truth, or if it's just something that, for example, society tells us, like, we can confuse our personal vision and our soul's vision with what we feel like we're supposed to do, or what other people tell us to do, or what, you know, a parental figure, a boss, like anyone who's in this advice giving kind of scenario, or any situation where there's already a structure and a path outlined. It can make it so it can be like our mind versus our heart, or it can just be hard to tell what's authentic to us and what isn't. And I feel like you've honestly been on a journey of maybe even navigating this struggle. And this could also even be fear or having to persevere when maybe you didn't know exactly what you're going toward, or maybe you had to go against what seemed normal or seemed like it made sense to everyone else. You know, I feel like a part of being a leader is essentially not being a follower. And so I feel like with the Hierophant energy, it's not anything negative, but it's just to say that it's almost built to be followed. You know, it's like a blueprint, and it's like there's a teacher that can teach you a certain structure or how to follow a certain path even. And I feel that you guys have been learning how to pave your own path. And it feels like you've been coming up against all that comes with. All that, the uncertainty and not knowing if you're doing the right thing, not knowing if you're even investing your time correctly, and I feel like you've even maybe been battling staying positive or battling trusting that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And maybe there's been a lot of times where you felt like maybe you should give up and do something more conventional. And yeah, there could just be two parts of yourself that have been telling you different things. But I feel like one of those parts of yourself have been your authentic truth and what you really value and what makes you you, like who you really are. And I feel like there's maybe another path that maybe seems safer, or it's easier to, maybe you start seeing results from it faster, or it just feels easier to invest in some capacity. And I'm seeing the 9 of Wands here, and I feel like you have built up a lot of resilience, because with the apprentice of Pentacles, but I was even seeing like the wand here almost. I feel like there's been an overarching purpose or self or role that you're wanting to step into in the 3D. And I feel that you've been having to maybe navigate like false turns, or maybe it's like it's not been a super straight path. Like it hasn't always been easy. And so you've kind of been pushed into having to really believe in yourself, even when there isn't evidence in front of you that things are working out, or that, you know, it's not one that was an easy path, is I feel like what you've been on. But what else? Can we clarify the moon as to what they're meant to be learning? Okay, we have the 2 of Cups, and then with Justice in reverse. Page of Pentacles in reverse, wanting to stay. Interesting. Interesting. And for a lot of you, this is kind of maybe random, or not random because it's coming through, but it's just one point. I don't know if everyone's going to feel this, but maybe some of you all have been really defining. This is actually what I'm getting from most of you, but sorry, I don't know why I'm getting so baffled here. But I feel like maybe there's been a fear around relationships and being afraid of relationships being something that is going to take away from your individuality. This doesn't have to be for everyone. I'm just going to throw it out. But I feel like it's almost like you've been navigating who you really are and what vision you have, and having the confidence in that, while also being able to navigate relationships. And also I'm getting this vibe of learning the difference between, for me, what's coming through is the difference between the Hierophant energy and the 2 of Cups, where I feel like there can be a lot of Hierophant, like upright energy, and the 2 of Cups in reverse, where maybe people are together because it makes sense, or they married, or, you know, maybe each person hasn't truly discovered who they are, and it's like just for comfort or ease. And it's kind of that vibe of doing something very traditional. But I feel like there's maybe been a fear around how that path could not rival, but potentially block your vision, or block your ability to be an individual and to carry out what's true to you. And I feel like maybe there's been this feeling of not wanting to have to, you know what I'm even getting? I feel like for some of you, there might have been a lot of internal conflict around what you want to invest in, or yeah, not maybe even knowing what path you want to invest in, maybe not knowing if there are certain relationships that you do want to invest in versus it just feels like there's this battle somewhat of, do I invest in a more traditional path, and that being something that, you know, maybe involves marriage or just kind of everything you think about when we think about, you know, building a life with someone and all of that. I just feel like there's been a lot of internal conflict about how that might obscure yourself, you know, and I feel like there's this part of you that didn't want to give up who you are for a relationship, because we have Libra here now in reverse. Maybe some of you even have been navigating through a divorce, or maybe it's been a hard path to decide that maybe a certain kind of relationship or a certain partnership isn't right for you. But overall, with the Page of Pentacles in reverse at the bottom of the deck, I feel like you've had to be willing to learn, and also be willing to not see yourself as foolish, or like you're never going to be able to build your dreams, or why even invest in them anyways? Maybe you should just do this path that's tried and true, but then that conflicts with this vision energy. So it's, again, with the Chariot here, it's like the sun and the moon are, or I'm pretty sure that's what's on the usual Chariot. And in order to be victorious and moving forward and to overcome challenge, it requires that balance of the two. So I feel like that's been the purpose. I feel like it's been maybe navigating your inner needs, and maybe the desire for closeness with other people, the desire for intimacy, but in a way that doesn't obscure who you are, and also doesn't force you to be someone that you're not, you know? And I feel maybe even for some of you, I feel like there's going to be different energies in all of this, but I do feel that some of you maybe were very afraid of stepping into your power and dedicating yourself to creating a kind of relationship with other people, or a certain path where it fits in with who you actually are and your authentic self and your authentic vision for what you want to create. And I feel like that's the path that you're creating. If you're not already, for a lot of you guys are probably on your way. And so maybe it required you walking away from something, or deciding that you didn't feel like you could move forward with a path that was more traditional, and it could even be no, I'm getting like more traditional, or you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I'm getting all together. But I feel like there's also a party that was separating maybe your fear of intimacy, and maybe some people in this group could go kind of far in the other direction, where maybe some people had challenges where they would give up too much of themselves in a relationship and kind of feel like they have to follow the traditional route. And then there could be other people in this pile, or might have even like have a counterpart that's like the opposite to this. But I'm seeing that, and maybe that's a message for you guys. I do feel for this group, you're probably going through some sort of divine alchemization, where it's like two opposites coming into balance. But anyways, I don't, that this isn't necessarily meant to be about that, but I could also see it being where someone could be maybe overly stubborn, or like so focused on what they want and kind of thinking about themselves, that they maybe avoided commitment and anything traditional, because there was like a lot of fear around that. And maybe there was a lot of fear of that getting in the way of fulfilling their purpose, or fulfilling what path they saw for themselves, or maybe if they felt like it would stop them from focusing fully on being a leader or whatever they wanted to create. Hopefully that makes sense. And so then there could have been this energy where maybe some of those people might have, even for some people, may have broken commitments, or maybe feel that they've done the wrong thing when it comes to relationships. And maybe this is a part of like a shadow aspect that you are looking at, or it's almost coming through that this could be a partner of yours or someone else close to you, but there's a mirroring journey that I'm seeing. So just take whichever way is resonating with you. But the purpose of it has been to really redefine, this is for both people. It's been a balancing process of balancing inner emotional needs and sensitivity and desire for comfort with Cancer coming through with the moon, desire for, it's like a moon-based card where it's almost like not wanting to be out there, and it's a very protective card. It's a card of like going inward as well. And almost maybe being willing to be more of the yin counterpart to a yang. But I feel like for this person was more heavy in the moon energy, it maybe was a process of integrating more of their sun and integrating more of their leadership capacity instead of having someone instead of being someone's shadow is what I'm getting, or being someone's like sidekick in a way, or just following someone else's path. But I feel like for each person, it's really been about figuring out when there's all these different, when it's not just clear cut, where there's competing needs, learning to balance it and learning to come up with a path that honors both or creates compromise between these two different needs, like the need for comfort, the need for belonging, safety, like almost like the need for the soft comfort of like the divine feminine energy, but also the need for the divine masculine energy, which is about self, and it's about I, and it is the active, it's active action and creation, and it's also the self. It's the sun energy too. So that's what I'm seeing, is this balancing of these two. And I don't know why. Okay, I just want to clarify the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Why is the Page of Pentacles in reverse? Okay, we have the Lovers here in reverse. And the Hermit. So interesting, yeah. And then the Emperor underneath. Yeah, I'm totally getting these vibes. So I'm not surprised to see the Lovers, because again, the Lovers feels like learning what your values are and learning how to make decisions that are loving and honoring to yourself and to other people as well. And so I'm getting this dual energy where maybe one person has been learning how to be more self-honoring and been learning how to have more of an identity outside of a relationship or outside of an other energy, where you're not always just making decisions for the other person. But in both cases, I feel like with the Hermit, it makes sense. Sorry, I'm just kind of like processing everything, but I feel that there's been this need maybe for each person to have a time period where maybe there's been a solo journey where maybe, I don't know why I'm getting each person now. It just feels like this is a relationship or something like that, but I'll just speak as if it's for one person, because I feel like this is true for each person. Actually, I'm gonna have to keep speaking both ways. I feel like for the person that maybe has more masculine energy to start off with, I feel like there could have been an avoidance of going within because they didn't want to face the moon energy. Like they maybe didn't want to, so they might have kept themselves very busy or very proactive, or always kind of focus on some sort of target, always trying to go towards something. But their decisions may have never been super balanced because I feel like they didn't really know how to balance their energy out with another person. And I feel like they were also even like disconnected from themselves. And I feel like those things end up being one and the same, is that if you're abandoning a part of yourself, it's going to be really hard to connect with that energy in someone else. And so I feel like it's possible also that if you were someone that had more of a yin energy, divine feminine energy, I feel that instead of making decisions for someone else or because of what someone else is saying to do, it's learning to go within and following your own path, you know, apart from other people, and not choosing what is easy for other people or what benefits other people over your own truth. Does that make sense? So I feel like it's been a learning process here of maybe trial and error, and having to learn how you guys want to create in this life. And I also feel that this has been a journey where I feel like the more feminine energy that's coming through here has probably been having to learn how some relationships that they've been a part of, like maybe they were done really wrong in those, or that like there was maybe a repetitive amount of like relationship karma, where I feel like they weren't honored or treated fairly. And it's almost like there was a need always to find the person that was truly the same as them, which is, look at this Two of Cups. It's the sun and the moon, which is so crazy. Like, for what I'm trying to say is, like, I feel that the feminine has, this is kind of a pretty grand, like, divine counterpart story here, but it's like, with the Two of Cups, for the divine feminine, the person that needed to balance out their moon energy needed to learn what kind of partnerships that they don't want to invest in, or that aren't healthy for them or aren't good for them. And instead of kind of being worried that they're making a mistake, or being afraid to step into their sun, being afraid to, if they're strong enough, you know, if they have the willpower, I feel like it's been gathering that willpower and gathering that balance point and that bravery to follow more of their own vision. And for the more masculine energy, I feel like it's been maybe learning how to be more flexible within their viewpoints, and not so domineering or dominant, or kind of like my way or the highway, where the Chariot can also be a very, you know, wants to be in control kind of an energy. So I feel like it's learning how to be more yielding, and not being afraid of any kind of a commitment, because there's a fear that it's going to take away from their individual ability to kind of be the leader. You know, I feel like someone always wants to be the leader. And so I feel like what the journey has really been, and then they maybe have hurt people. Maybe they've hurt people that they've had this Two of Cups with, but because of their own fear of commitment and the fact that commitment requires compromise, I feel like they've maybe acted in selfish ways, or acted in ways that weren't right to, you know, people that they actually had, you know, good emotions with, or good, a good true connection with. It's like wronging the people that, like wronging soulmates and wronging people that, didn't deserve it. And so it's like them having to look into their shadow self. And I feel like with the feminine, it's needing to see the sun, needing to see who they are, and allowing who they are to shine, and not dim the light, and not feel, to not feel so afraid. And for each person, it's like they're afraid of different things. So yeah, this could just be a collective that's listening here that, you know, maybe you've been on a more masculine journey or a more feminine one. But either way, I think it also could be kind of growing up from childhood, of like what we were taught or told we needed to do, or what we shouldn't do from a younger age when we're more impressionable. So that's what I'm seeing. And I feel like the purpose has been for each person to lay the foundation of self, integrating, becoming balanced enough in self, so the path where there is commitment and there is also true intimacy, and being on the same page as someone is a new possibility. It's almost like carving a new path for that, you know? Okay, so can we just get a couple oracle cards, please? So we also have Gemini energy that came out at one point. All right, so what has pile number 1 been learning through this cycle? What is the purpose of this cycle then? We have the thinking woman in reverse. We have the 6th chakra. Yeah, door to personal healing and happiness, definitely. The 1st chakra. Then we have Deceit at the back of the deck. Okay, so I feel here, there's definitely a lot coming through around maybe for the more feminine energy. Probably a lot more of you guys are the feminine energy, but I feel like the feminine energy is a lot more intuitive and again, like spiritual, even psychic in some cases. But I feel like there's been a need to balance that out with having your own personal direction and learning how to think for yourself and put yourself first with door to personal healing and happiness, and learning how to almost strategize towards futures that maybe you've been able to envision, but maybe have been afraid of actually pursuing because maybe it's like there's this fear of not having security, or maybe there was a need to become more rooted in yourself and more confident and stable within your own personal, within who you are as an individual, again with the sun, in order to feel confident in strategizing toward and taking action and to see the path forward. That's what I keep getting, is to make sure. So this is kind of going back to the original message I was getting of how maybe security fears or survival fears can keep us away from, or can keep us in a place of deceit where maybe we're not being honest with ourselves about what we really want or how we really feel about certain situations. And it's almost like learning to do the personal healing that is going to bring this vision into reality. For the other energy, I do feel like what a lot of this is about, though, is I feel that for the thinking woman in reverse, it's like, it's all about knowing, kind of being able to see your path forward and not having confused thinking or being kind of scattered. Because it's almost like sometimes you can see things intuitively or be in touch with an intuitive vision, but you can be held behind by fearful thinking or, just essentially fears with the first chakra, or clinging on to security and stuff like that. And so it can be easier to lie to yourself. It can also be easier to accept lies from other people. And so I feel like this is a time period of where you've been learning how to be authentic and honest with yourself and take action that honors that despite your fears, and learning how to kind of, with the Chariot here, persevere through whatever fears you have, and almost maybe even being brave enough to uncover lies about other people or relationships. Even if you've been committed in certain situations, it's possible with the Moon in reverse and Justice. Sometimes we can hide the truth of other people's deceit, because we don't want to see it sometimes. So there could have been situations like that where you've really had to be honest about what's holding you back from realizing something isn't a good investment, or realizing that you have been wronged in some way even, and having the self-esteem to do that, and having enough security in yourself to know that you can overcome the challenges of recognizing that something is not a part of your vision, that you don't have to settle for something that isn't in alignment with you, that maybe where someone's broken promises or, just hasn't been an honorable partner to you. It's like being able to walk away from that and being able to know where you're going, essentially. Because I feel like if we're too afraid to face certain challenges on our own, and we're afraid to navigate things on our own, I feel like we end up not putting ourselves first, and we maybe end up denying our intuition or our truth even. So yeah, I feel like that's really the message here. I feel like you've been learning to put yourself first, to honor your intuition, to honor what's not in alignment with that, and also being able to almost see behind doors, being able to trust your intuition before you get in a situation that your intuition was telling you wasn't right for you, but maybe you doubted your ability to strategize or to know what's right for you, with the Sun in reverse, not knowing if your fears are legitimate, not knowing if you're just being afraid, things like that. Yeah, and I'm seeing here, it's like learning, this has been a lot about self-love and how self-honesty and honestly knowing who you are. It's almost like the balance of the Sun and the Moon can really help you see things a lot more clearly, can help you see what isn't true in your life, and can help you open up your mind to different possibilities. And I feel like it's just been sort of whatever lack of self-love has been slowing the journey down towards this cornucopia and the temple path. And I feel like that's where you're going, is learning how to move towards this true abundance. And I feel like it's probably where your soul is pointing you. So yeah, and I feel like it's tuning into your divine vision as well. So yeah, hopefully that covered a lot, but I feel like you guys have, you know, let me see. I feel like I need another deck. One second. All right, I'm just going to use these surrender cards. But for pile number 1, Spirit. Oh, you know what I'm really getting here too is like there's really a strong inverse energy coming through between whatever other energy I was getting, because I was thinking about how the way we tend to ourselves and our like inner truth will reflect outwardly. But the same is also true that I feel like the way we treat the external, and you know what I mean, the way we act in the external world also impacts our internal, because relationships are important to us. So I feel like it's really balancing those two truths. Does that make sense? And kind of, I feel like for your person, or maybe a person that's been important on this journey, maybe you have like a divine counterpart. I don't like to get too specific about those things. I think your journey is more important, but I feel like it might have been a journey for certain people to realize just how selfish they've been, or how they've harmed themselves by not making decisions that honor other people as well. But let's see. So for pile number 1 though, it's like their lesson is more like there is personal happiness to be had in a relationship with or other people's happiness. You know what I mean? So it just depends. But okay, so what has pile number 1 been learning? Or what have they been learning to surrender? Yeah, we have surrender to success. You're ready to experience abundance. Don't look back at previous roadblocks or difficulties. Leap into an exciting world of new possibilities. That's beautiful. And I feel like this group is really ready. And that's what the Chariot is all about, is success. And I feel like it might have also been just overcoming situations that didn't work out, and just trusting that you are this strong Chariot energy that's been learning to protect yourself, like the Cancer energy, but also is strong. So like there's this balance of being strong yet sensitive. All right, what has pile number 1 been learning to surrender? We have surrender frustration. Frustration doesn't open any doors. The key to resolving a dilemma or dissolving a block is to take a breath and center yourself and regroup, so you may approach the situation more calmly. And I feel like that's also like the Chariot here, where I feel like in times where maybe there have been blockages and maybe you have been wanting to give up, or maybe you have wanted things to be easier, like I feel like you've been kind of learning how to recenter yourself so you can move forward again. Like that's what the Chariot is all about, is like when you get knocked off balance, that's when the Chariot reverses. And it's like not a good idea to just keep moving forward when the Chariot is in reverse, because it kind of implies a lack of success, and it applies kind of hitting your head into a brick wall, where it's like it's better to actually balance yourself so the next decision you make can be more wise. But I feel like a lot of what this has been about is you navigating a journey of continuing to believe in your success, and to not allow frustrations or blockages or disappointments to cause you to believe you will not be successful. What else? Yeah, we have surrender low self-esteem. You deserve success, love, and abundance. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. Yeah, and I feel like also just having like the self-worth to not internalize setbacks or blockages as something meaning you don't deserve things, or meaning that, you know, you should give up or it's pointless. It's like you've been on this journey of learning how to create and forge your own success with confidence. All right, can we get one more for pile number 1? Not letting the fears get the best of you. Also not believing certain like negative things about yourself with the Seat here. All right, we have surrender your belief in scarcity. So yeah, the universe is asking you to be open to the infinite nature of abundance. In this way, you can remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. And not all of these cards talk about success, I'm pretty sure, but success has come through so many times. And I feel like that's the Chariot energy. And again, like this is what I was saying, is I feel like there's been this energy of releasing with that first chakra, the belief in scarcity, that's causing you to believe potentially that, you know, there's scarcity, or, you know, you need to cling to what you have, and to not keep forging forward to creating more abundance, or believing that there's more abundance for you. So learning to not act from a place of scarcity, but also learning how to learn to love yourself. Also, self-esteem is in my mind a little bit different than like self-love, because self-esteem is believing in yourself, and the way we build our self-esteem is through overcoming challenges. And so I feel like you've been on this journey of almost facing difficulties and overcoming those difficulties so you can build your self-esteem. And then at the back of the deck, we have surrender your intuition. So tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. And I feel like that is something I kind of touched on some level. But this feels like a divine masculine journey that you've been on. And that's been the purpose, is with the Emperor that came through, is learning to believe in yourself, learning to not feel like your dreams are silly, or like you can't be successful or create the security that you're looking for, maybe from relationships that weren't treating you very well. But yeah, you've definitely come really far. And if you guys are still in the midst of the journey, I feel like the main messages would just be that there is a purpose to all you're going through. You are growing, you are learning, even if it has been frustrating. I feel like there's a need to see how far you've come, to see all the challenges that you have overcome, the fact that you're even still on the journey. And it's really not about not falling over. It's about how many times you keep rebalancing yourself to keep moving forward. And you're building the muscle of the Chariot energy, which is about willpower and determination and success and victory coming through determination. And I feel like there's this energy of like, wow, I did that. I was always capable of that. And I feel like there's this energy of proving to yourself what you're capable of in this group. And in the process, overcoming certain fears or moon energies, like, you know, things that have been in your shadow, that I feel like through this process of being on that divine masculine path, where I feel like you've been trying to create some success or moving towards some kind of vision or goal, it's brought the blockages and the challenges have brought up shadow content that are around self-esteem and around scarcity and needing to trust yourself. And and just believing that you're capable, believing that you're capable, truly. It's not even just deserving. It's like you are capable of creating it. You know, there's no reason why if someone else can create it that you can't, you know? So that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button before you head out. If you found this helpful, I really appreciate you're able to hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know what other non-love based readings you want to see. And I hope to connect with you again soon. Hello, pal number 2. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the Apparition Tarot and this black tourmaline palm stone, then, black tourmaline. I always get black obsidian and black tourmaline messed up, but anyways, that's what this is. So this is going to be your reading on what has the purpose of this cycle that you're currently in or closing out. Like, what have you been learning? Why have you been going through what you're going through? What have the purpose of the challenges been? And where is it really taking you? So I'm expecting that some people that are listening to this are anywhere in the cycle. Maybe some of you are more in the beginning of the cycle where it's hard to see where it's really leading. Some of you might be further along or kind of approaching the end, and it could be helpful to clarify why you should keep going. Also, some of you guys maybe have already closed out this cycle, the challenges that come with this, but maybe it's helpful to hear this and so you're able to integrate it a little bit better as you're debriefing with yourself of, you know, what cycles you've been closing out. So I'm leaving it pretty open, but if what I'm describing doesn't sound like something you've been dealing with or doesn't sound like an energy stream that's familiar to you, it's probably not your reading. So just be discerning with that. And if it's just making you feel more confused rather than seen, I would say pick a different pile potentially. So Yeah. All right. So Spirit, please tune me into pile number 2. Please give me honest and concise answers for their highest good. What is the purpose of the cycle that they're in or closing? What is the purpose of this for them individually on a soul level? Pile number 2. I'm just going to actually light a little bit of the Palo Santo just to cleanse the energy. Never be a bad idea. All right, pile number 2, Spirit. What have they been learning? What is the purpose of the cycle? We have the 6 of Wands in reverse. We have the 2 of Wands in the reverse. We have the Queen of Cups. What is the purpose of this cycle then? What have they been learning? Oh, I have to cover that. Don't look, don't look. Okay. We have the Knight of Wands. What has the purpose of the cycle that pile number 2 is currently in or closing? The 4 of Wands in reverse. So what I'm already getting, I feel like a lot of people in this group are learning how to, even when maybe people that you've grown up with or certain communities that you've been a part of, so this could be friend groups, your hometown, whatever, it's whatever foundation. So with the 4 of Wands, it gives to me some kind of typical structure. But it's meant to be the people in your life that are really meant to support you and provide the foundation in which you can go after, like, they're the people that are going to celebrate you and celebrate your growth and celebrate your wins and your losses, things like that. And so I feel like this group with the Queen of Cups coming out, I feel like this is a very sensitive, probably a group of empaths, people that are kind of sweethearts, people that really, really care about the people around them. I feel like also people that see the best in other people. It also could even be that throughout your life, it's almost like you haven't been recognized or encouraged in the way that you should have been. It feels like people haven't celebrated you or appreciated your kindness, because this is kind of a group where it feels like you have been that person that is very authentic with others and is genuine in their feelings for other people, and also maybe can sometimes overlook other people not showing up for them the way that they deserve, or can maybe overlook their opportunities or not fight for things that, you know, should be theirs. It kind of feels like that, where this is a group that maybe can be very selfless or have a hard time, again, like just seeing if, especially if you like love certain people or have love for them, it may be hard for you to recognize that you deserve better, or to recognize that maybe certain people are holding you back or are not really authentic with you, not giving you the encouragement that you deserve, and it is kind of like not giving you the support that you deserve. Or maybe people that, I don't know, I'm seeing a scenario where there are people around that could be jealous or just not super authentic, like a little bit fake almost, but it's almost like seeing the best in them, so you don't recognize how that's impacting you, or you don't recognize how maybe there isn't reciprocity. Like maybe you give a lot of love, are very empathetic towards people, are supportive of people when, you know, they want to go towards some opportunity, or you celebrate their wins with them. And I feel like you're also there for people when, you know, they have to make a decision that they're afraid to make, or, you know, I just feel like you're someone that makes people feel good about themselves. And I feel like you're able to encourage people to be confident in what they do. Okay, so what else? What is the purpose of the cycle that pile number 2 has been in? What are they learning? We have the sun in reverse, Leo energy. And I feel like there is this Leo energy coming through from this group. But if it's not Leo necessarily, like I just feel like there's this very loyal and playful energy. And I feel, you know, just the energy of a Leo. I mean, I am a Leo, so I'm not even trying to like say anything about that, but I'm just saying that almost like the stereotypical one of someone that likes to shine their light on people and can be very social. And like, I feel like Leos are very good at hyping other people up and like making them feel good about themselves, or making them feel better, you know, if they're not feeling good about themselves. Like, I feel like that's a special talent of Leos. So I'm getting that though. What else what have they been learning through this cycle? All right, we have the Devil in reverse. I have to cover this. This is Capricorn energy. What has pile number 2 been learning? Yeah. What has pile number 2 been learning? We had the 9 of Swords. Can we clarify the 4 of Wands? The 5 of Swords, and then the 6 of Swords. That's what I was getting. Yeah. So essentially, I really feel that this group may have a hard time seeing what forces in their life are actually holding them back, or forces in your life that are preventing, or maybe actually creating more fear. So I feel like there's been people around you that have actually treated you in ways, or spoken to you, acted toward you in a way that almost instills more fear and less optimism in you. And I feel like you've been learning how to leave, how to transition, and kind of move away from certain toxic groups of people that are really trying to dim your light, and are trying to also don't want you to recognize that. So it almost feels like they don't want you to move toward another place, or what makes you happy. Because I'm kind of seeing the Village card from what's it called? There's the Village card from the Kim Kranz archetype deck, and I feel it's almost like having people around you that don't want the best for you, and are kind of happy with you being in a, like, kind of taking, it's like people kind of take your kindness for weakness, or they have, and they've kind of banked on you not breaking away from them, or not having to treat you fairly. Again, there's just this energy of dimming your light, or not encouraging you to shine, but you not taking it personally, or you seeing these people, or this kind of like foundation as something that isn't nefarious, you know. But it feels like there's like fake people around you, essentially, that see your kind-hearted nature, and because you're not strategic and you see the best in them, I feel like they use that to their advantage to instill fear in you. Because the Five of Swords in reverse is an energy of defeat. And for me, I always think about it as sometimes we internalize other people's energy towards us. Like, I feel like there can be people around us that maybe treat us in ways where they kind of make it clear that they don't really care. They'll throw anyone overboard to get to what they want, or it just gives the energy of someone that really doesn't have someone else's best interest at heart, that is very selfish, and it can be a pretty like gnarly card, honestly. And I feel like there's this energy of that where like people might say like negative things to you, or have said negative things, or have even tried to like sabotage you, is what it feels like. And I don't know if this is overtly or like behind your back, because like with the Six of Wands in reverse, it just feels like there are people that are like judgmental towards you, but also don't want you to break away from them. Does that make sense? So I really don't love this. So it just feels like you've been dealing with a lot of people like that, that maybe claim to not be that because they don't want you to break away from them or break loose. But it feels like this is twofold, where they actively don't respect and they take you for granted. You know, it feels like people that have taken you for granted, or again, taking your kindness for weakness, who maybe like, this is kind of nefarious. Like, I feel like and not saying that every person around you from a certain group or like hometown or whatever this is like this, but it just feels like there are people that maybe benefit on your fear, or benefit on you being too afraid to kind of take a risk and maybe leave a certain hometown or leave a certain group just because it's familiar. But it just feels like people who don't really have your best interests at heart. And it's like you've been learning how to move on. Almost like you've been learning first how to recognize the true intentions of people around you, how to recognize that something is unfair, learning how to overcome the fear of how to unlearn whatever, you know, this foundation has instilled in you, whatever doubt about yourself it's instilled, because it feels like the very thing that would create more distance from these people or this group or whatever it is, this hometown. It's like the very thing that would free you. And it's almost like I don't know how conscious it is, but it's like if you were to get away from this, you would realize how great you are, because there wouldn't be people around you actively dimming your light. And it's almost like there are people that are afraid of you being treated fairly, and like recognizing how unfair they were to you, but also for you to be confident enough to break away from, you know, these connections or this community, foundation, friend group, family, whatever it is that really doesn't have your best interest in mind. And so I feel like it's like you've been learning how to kind of see, I feel like there's been a need to realize how you deserve to be supported and what energy you deserve to get back from other people. And I feel like it's this energy of breaking away from bonds that you're tied to, like almost karmic connections that hold you back from reaching your potential or making decisions that would create more success in your life or more expansion. And it's almost like this energy of not caring as much about what other people's opinions are of you, because you've been sensitive, you've allowed other people's response to you to be an accurate reflection of who you are. And I feel like that's what's not true about this whole situation, is that you've been having inaccurate mirroring going on, where people have maybe blamed things on you, or you know, it's either like they don't give you the props that you should get, or they don't accurately mirror back to you. So like if you're very like talented at something, or you're very beautiful, you know, you're a good friend, you're good whatever, it's like it's almost like people will actively try to dim that or not give attention to it. So, and then also it feels like if there is something positive, or no, it feels like they may also intentionally kind of get in your head about certain things about you that you're doing wrong. And like, because you're empathetic, I feel like you might like believe that you're doing something wrong, or you should have to change the way you're going about things. You know what I mean? I feel like there's just been people that have made you question yourself, and kind of taken away at, or taken a dig at your self-esteem. And so it's made you like a lot more reliant on other people's opinions of you, or you might have felt like you have to get other people's approval in order to do things or to move forward or to be valid, you know? And I feel like it's kind of been trained into you. But I feel like this is a non-truth, like this is a negative force. And I feel like there's this need to see that you should be able to, I'm just seeing all these come out. But with the Ace of Swords in reverse, I feel like there's been a need to see the truth about how maybe your past has acted in a way that has weakened your sense of self, or has made you less resilient, or made you question your strength. Because I feel like you have this beautiful Leo energy to you, even if you're not a Leo. You know, I feel like Spirit's saying like there's just this need to kind of see maybe how nefarious is maybe how you are maybe not seeing in the past other people's egos also with strength. I feel like you trigger people a lot, and I feel like because you have such good intentions, it's hard for you to understand how people could genuinely be negative toward you. But I feel like you've had people that are like jealous of you, people that you thought were your friends, people you thought like supported you and cared about you, like genuinely, you know, they didn't really have the best intentions for you at heart, you know? And I feel like that's a really hard lesson to go through. But I feel like there's this need, what you're learning through this is that if you've made any movement forward, either you're learning that you need to move away from this, or you've moved away from it and you're having to recognize to what degree you were held back or stifled in the past. Or how people kind of just made you afraid to go after what you want to go after, or have kind of just expected you to be treated like a doormat a little bit. Like people have, you know, maybe taken advantage of that, or been able to convince you to not claim what's yours. I just feel like people have undermined you in such a way that I feel like there's people that were competing with you that you didn't even know they were competing with you because you weren't competing with them. But I just feel like you had people like that around you. Yeah, and so if you're going through this right now, I feel like there's this need to see that moving away from this is not unkind. Like recognizing that you deserve more credit, recognizing that you were not treated fairly, that you have not been recognized, that you want to move on, recognizing you're not happy, like that you shouldn't feel like that is something that's you being selfish. I feel like people have also programmed you to think that you're selfish, or to think that you're like full of yourself, or, you know, any of those things, because does that make sense? Where they almost want you to question your intentions, even though you don't have any bad intentions. But then it's like, if someone can convince you that every time you like go after an opportunity, or you're doing something positive in your life, that you're being like stuck up, or you're being selfish. I just feel like people have convinced you that you're selfish when you're literally not. And I feel like you're unlearning this now, or you're meant to kind of unlearn how maybe the way you've been treated by like groups of people, or just like your peers, have maybe made you feel afraid, or maybe have held you back from taking more risky or bold moves, or like moving away or going after some kind of opportunity. Like you maybe have just felt like you've held your own self back from that, you know? And maybe there's also this fear of standing out. What is the purpose of this cycle, Ben? I feel like it's overall, though, to get you away from people like this, or get you away from some kind of a past, to help you see it more clearly. Also, I feel like you're meant to see yourself more accurately, rather than through the eyes of these people that haven't had good intentions towards you. We have TikTok. What is the purpose of this cycle, Ben? We have clean it up. Yeah, we have come to the edge. I'm definitely getting that. We have community and unfinished symphony in reverse. Yeah, all that glitters here in reverse as well. Yeah, and I feel like this honestly is like some kind of a community or something. But I do feel like there's this energy around recognizing what baggage was yours from relationships and what other, I feel like a lot of people have made you responsible for their problems, or like they're the one that has XYZ wound, and I feel like instead of dealing with that wound, they've kind of projected onto you certain things that are not true, or put certain responsibilities on your plate that have been unfair to you, or even cause you to believe certain things about yourself that were actually more of a reflection of the other people's wounds. And I feel like with come to the edge too, I feel like it's possible that these kinds of situations have made you more timid or less willing to put yourself out there. But I feel like there's this energy of being able to, in your connections with people moving forward, to be able to see the true intentions of other people, essentially, and also to be able to see what's yours and what's theirs, so you don't take on energy that isn't yours. And I feel like with unfinished symphony here, it just feels like there's almost like this review going on where you're meant to learn something about the past, because it feels like through integrating this lesson from the past, I feel like you're going to realize what was never yours. There's also this energy here with like TikTok. I just want to clarify that. Why? There's this energy around believing in yourself and not being made to feel like it's too late to do something, or it's too late to go after what you want. But why do we have TikTok, Spirit? We have the Hierophant. Yeah, and the Emperor here. I don't know. There could be people around that are telling you it's too late to do something, or are telling you, yeah, I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's this energy of trying to get you to believe that you shouldn't go after certain things, or you shouldn't maybe try to get married, or you shouldn't. It's almost like people convincing you not to go after things that would be positive for you. But it's also not too late to change ideologies, or to, you can move on, you can move forward. Like, no amount of baggage from the past should be able to prevent your ability to create a new foundation or a new structure. And it's possible that, you know, maybe a certain relation, and this could even be a relationship that made you feel like this, but it makes me feel like maybe you felt that you didn't belong in some kind of a like structure or community or something because of your past experience. But I feel like Spirit's saying like there's still so much time for you to improve your situation, and whatever way that another situation held you back, it doesn't have to hold you back forever. And just because there's baggage doesn't mean that you shouldn't, that every community is going to treat you like that, or that, I don't know, maybe you, because of how you were treated in a certain like relationship or a certain hometown, maybe you started to feel like, you know, you just didn't belong, or, you know, you would never find a group where you feel a sense of support from. And so I feel like maybe people have made you feel isolated, or made you feel like, you know, you'll never belong. But I feel like there's Spirit saying it's not too late to find your place in a community. I am wondering, there's almost a message coming through. It's also possible, this is just like for some of you, if you've taken a wrong turn in life and it kind of bit you in the butt or something like that, or like maybe this is just for kind of a different story coming through, but it's possible that maybe for some of you, you made a mistake where you, I don't know, didn't pick the right person, or you didn't make the right decision. I feel like Spirit's saying you can choose again, and you can clean up your mess. It's not too late. Like, Spirit's overall, the message for this group is it's not too late to change paths. It's not too late. You're not already defeated. Like, you're not, you can still take action. There's a message for this group that you can still take action. And for some of you that maybe did something that other people didn't approve of, or like maybe did something that wasn't right in some sense, or maybe made a decision that was like not a betrayal, but like maybe, you know, does that make sense? Where for some of you, maybe you have felt ostracized from a group because maybe you did something that was actually dishonorable in some capacity. But if you've broken away from whatever negative influences were causing you to make those decisions, like, this is almost making me think about if like you were a part of like a church group or something, and you know, you maybe did something that didn't align with that group, and maybe you were, you know, that was like recognized or something. Like, I almost feel like here there's this energy of it's not too late to make things right if you're just willing to move forward or to come forward and be vulnerable. That's kind of a switch up, but it's just another message I'm getting is like, you can make things better. Like, things can get better. And here's the thing, maybe for some of you guys, like maybe, I don't know, maybe you treated someone else like what I was kind of talking about, and maybe you want to make things right again. I feel like Spirit's saying like there's always potential for healing. And it's also possible that like some people maybe went after something that, you know, wasn't all that it seemed to be, or like maybe kind of fell for something, maybe like took the devil's offer or something, or didn't realize how negative something was. I feel like Spirit's saying like forgiveness is possible, and like you don't have to forever be afraid that you can never like return home, or you can never, you're not defeated is what I'm getting with the five of swords here in reverse, you know? Definitely an interesting energy coming through though. So yeah, for those of you that feel that were kind of mistreated by a group, I feel like Spirit's saying it's not too late to find belonging in another group, or to not feel like marriage is for you, or not feel like whatever this traditional like community thing is not for you anymore. Yeah. I'm also wondering, yeah, because I'm just getting different scenarios. Or it's possible that someone did something that in a group that you were a part of that was like very much not looked upon positively. And it just feels like if you're the one that did something like that, I feel like there's this energy of you can still clean up your mess, but you may need to kind of be vulnerable and take the risk, you know, like don't stay in your comfort zone forever. You can finish the symphony, like you can revisit things. Yeah, because it's almost like there's a fear for some people that they could never, that things will never get better, or the past can never be left in the past. Yeah, because for some of you, it could have been a mistake that was made. Where was that? Yeah, but I'm getting judgment here in reverse. Someone making the wrong decision, maybe deciding to prioritize something that didn't end up working out. Yeah, and it just feels like maybe it went against the group in some way. What is the purpose of the lesson that pile number 2 is learning right now? Yeah, door to value. The sun in reverse. Yeah, I feel like if someone didn't get an opportunity that they really wanted, or if someone kind of messed up in some way, or, you know, just didn't get the recognition they were expecting, it doesn't mean that there should be a feeling of nothing's going to get better, or it can't be positive again. Like, I feel like there's a need to stay optimistic and just go, okay, well, like I didn't get that one, but how can I improve the situation? Yeah, cornucopia. I feel like someone may have done something that really didn't work out for them. Yeah, man holding a heart. Maybe they didn't honor their heart. Maybe, okay, this is like for some of you, but I feel like it's possible that someone maybe betrayed the Queen of Cups. So for those of you where I started off the reading and I was kind of talking about how maybe you were this Queen of Cups, like it's possible that maybe there was someone else in your life, like a person that you maybe relied on or thought you had like an emotional connection with. It can be platonic or not. It's possible that someone made a decision that maybe went against the relationship's values or the family's values, and maybe someone pursued like greed or materialism over what was really authentic or what really mattered. And so I feel like the lesson here would be for that person that did that, you know, to recognize that they made the wrong decision, but that they have the opportunity to leave that in the past and leave that way of being in the past if they want to, you know, that it's almost like they can get back in good graces, like they can follow the straight and narrow path now. It just feels like someone, yeah, made a wrong decision, took a wrong turn away from maybe their heart or away from something that really did matter to them. And then, yeah, and maybe they were thinking that they were going to get a victory, but instead it kind of put them in a negative situation. And maybe they really hurt someone else, and this could be you still, but all in all, it just feels like if someone really made a miscalculation about a person's character and took a decision away from them, and then that situation didn't work out, I feel like there's an energy of saying there's just a need to learn the lesson, but like you shouldn't feel like you can never improve the situation or things can't move on to something better, or that you're like doomed forever, you know? Maybe there's someone who's afraid of like coming back to some kind of a hometown or coming back to a relationship or a friend group because they're afraid that they're like super anxious to take action towards it because they just feel like maybe they're going to be met with disapproval or shame. Like there could be someone who feels ashamed of something. But I just feel like what this is really about for that person is like, if you're willing to kind of be humble and accept that you kind of took the L on something and to learn from that, like you're not doomed forever, but there is a need to make amends. And I feel like maybe recommit to a higher purpose, or like making decisions with priorities that really honor like maybe someone that you like, someone who you want a relationship with, or some kind of a group. But I feel like there's someone that's maybe afraid that they're going to be treated in this negative way, you know what I mean? Because maybe they made a mistake or did something wrong. But yeah, maybe this situation goes hand in hand, like, I don't know. But yeah, let's see what comes through for the surrender energy. Hopefully you guys are going to be able to decipher this. I feel like it's also possible that like someone really, I feel like someone might have fallen for some opportunity that just really seemed good on the surface, but it was kind of hollow. And I feel like they maybe caught themselves being like not as authentic, or maybe moving in a dishonorable way. But yeah, with round and round, it's like if you recognize the lesson, if you recognize that you don't want to go round in a circle, you can make a change to the situation is what I'm getting. All right, what is the lesson for pile number 2? We have surrender to setting limits. It's healthy to set boundaries in relationships. Practice expressing your needs. And remember that no is a complete sentence. Yeah, so for some of you, it could even be that you are dealing with a person that did something like this. So I feel like Spirit's saying, like, if you are this Queen of Cups and someone kind of wronged you, or, you know, like, I feel like Spirit's saying, don't be afraid to have your boundaries and to see and to like state what's okay with you and what isn't. Like, you're not obligated to let someone in your life because of familiarity or out of being kind. You know, I feel like there's a need to protect yourself. And it's like also okay if someone loses the opportunity with you. Yeah, we have surrender to your intuition. Tune into your inner voice. Be aware of any gut feeling flashes or aha moments that come through to guide you. We have surrender your belief in scarcity. So the universe is asking you to open to the infinite nature of abundance. In this way, you can remove blocks in your life and succeed beyond your wildest dreams. We also have surrender to your full power. Your life is calling you for you to step in your full power rather than playing it small. So like a lot of them, surrender to success. So a lot of the messages that were coming through are very similar to what I was saying at first. But I just feel like Spirit's saying to not play small for anyone, or if you have been wronged by a group, or, you know, I don't know. I just feel like there was someone in a group that maybe was overlooked or not given the credit that they deserved. And I feel like there's this need to trust yourself that something was wrong or that some people did kind of harm you. And also to surrender belief in scarcity, to not allow anyone to get you in your head about what you deserve or what abundance you deserve. But yeah, overall, there's this energy of not personalizing other people's missteps or other people's kind of BS, and not internalizing that or thinking that it's your fault. And yeah, because I feel like for some of you, you might have dealt with the person that, with a man holding a heart here in reverse and then a man holding a coin, like there could have just been someone who didn't have your best interests at heart. And it's possible that maybe you took some kind of loss because of that. But yeah, I just feel like Spirit's saying if you were wronged in any way or like didn't get the recognition you deserved, or maybe was dealing with someone who didn't really have their heart in the right place, like Spirit's saying trust your intuition, trust yourself when it's time to set limits. Like even if someone returns and tries to make things right with you, I feel like trust your own inner guidance. Because yeah, I don't know. I feel like someone tried to undermine you, or some kind of group did. And I don't know. I feel like it's possible that you didn't deserve, like this could have been a situation where the wrong person was blamed or something, or like there might have been a smear campaign against you, but then there was another person that actually was dishonorable. But yeah, that's what I'm kind of getting. So yeah, hopefully that made a little bit more sense to you. But yeah, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And I'm sending you guys love. If you guys found this helpful, if you're able to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe before you head out. I appreciate that. But other than that, it's been an honor, and I hope to connect with you again soon. Hello, pal number 3. Welcome to your reading. If you chose the orange calcite palm stone and the Affirmators Tarot, then you've come to the right place. We're going to be looking at what is the purpose of the cycle that you've been going through. Why have certain events been going on in your life? What have you been learning? So this really is for people at different parts in a similar cycle. So if this is something you're currently dealing with, I think it'll be helpful to help you see through the chaos of the situation, or even if it isn't chaos, but help you see where you're headed. And I feel like for those of you that have already closed out the cycle, I think it'll just be confirmation that you're on the right track and you've correctly picked up on the lessons. So we are just going to jump right in. So I would say if the energy I'm describing sounds nothing like what you're dealing with or what you have been dealing with, it's probably not your pile. So I just wouldn't force anything to fit. That's bringing you more confusion than it is piquing your intuition and resonating with what's been going on for you. So for pile number 3, Spirit, placing me into their energy, please allow me to get the highest, or for the highest good of all beings, honest and concise answers. So what has pile number 3 been learning? What have they been meant to learn? What's the purpose of the cycle they're currently in, or the cycle that they're closing out at this point? All right, I feel like it's a little bit... Okay. What has pile number 3 been learning? All right, we have Justice in reverse. We have Libra energy. 2 of Wands in reverse. Okay, I'm already wondering if this has any tie to pile number 2, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, so interesting. Okay, what is pile number 3 learning through the cycle that they've been going through? What are they learning? The World in reverse. What is pile number 3 learning? Strength in reverse. So we have Leo. What is pile number 3 learning? Yeah, the Hierophant in reverse is so interesting. I feel like this has a connection to pile number 2 because I don't know. I was so in pile number 2 there was one narrative going really strong and then another message started coming through that maybe was connected, but I was like, okay, if that was connected, why didn't Justice in reverse come through? And now it's coming through in a similar context. So there's a feeling here of maybe needing to give closure to someone or to gather the strength, to gather the, like to release the fears, to have enough courage to maybe visit a past situation where it's possible that you made a wrong decision. If this sounds like something that happened to you, this might be a message for someone that you dealt with, but this feels like the energy of someone that has been has not gotten the outcome that they wanted in a situation. Oh, you know what? Maybe this is still pertaining. Okay, sorry. I don't even know what I'm saying for a second, but we have Taurus, Libra. I'm just going to finish the spread and then I'll get a clearer message for you all. Okay. What has the purpose been of the cycle that pile number 3 is in? What have they been meaning? What have they been supposed to learn? We have the Empress in reverse. The Moon in reverse. Cancer. Queen of Swords in reverse. The Chariot in reverse. Yeah, I definitely feel like someone was unsuccessful. Yeah. Okay, there's this overall message, and I feel like this might be a crossover for pile number 2, where I felt like there was someone that didn't get what they deserved in a situation. Like they didn't get the recognition. They maybe were even prevented from growing or in some way even neglected in a situation, and it's possible that someone wasn't able to move forward or be successful because they didn't have the truth about something. And it almost feels like there's someone else that feels that they may have sabotaged another person, or they may have made it so the recognition didn't go to the right person, or someone didn't get recognition for something that they deserved. Or maybe they never knew why they weren't successful, or they didn't reach some kind of a victory. Could we clarify the Hierophant, please? We have the Knight of Swords, Page of Swords in reverse, 5 of Wands, and then the 9 of Cups in reverse. Yeah, it just feels like someone really didn't get what they wanted. Okay, this is really not in view. One second. Okay. So I feel like there's someone here that was not able to I feel like someone's wish fulfillment was blocked. And I feel like with the Hierophant in reverse, it feels like someone did something that maybe wasn't above board or violated like the rules or the structure of how things are supposed to be done. And I'm even wondering if someone was... What is this situation? Like maybe even someone got bad guidance from someone else to take some kind of an action, but they actually didn't know about certain factors, or maybe they encouraged someone not to gain more information before they went forward with something. Because it feels like if someone was feeling internally conflicted about whether or not they should move forward or whether or not something was what they wanted, I feel like they were encouraged to without making sure they saw things clearly, or without gathering more information. It's almost like they were just encouraged to move straight ahead and not question someone else's expertise in something or someone's guidance. I feel like someone may have been encouraged to not think for themselves. I feel like it's possible that someone made a bad decision because of another person. Someone maybe led them to make a decision that wasn't in their best interest, or it just feels like there's been some kind of injustice when it comes to someone either going towards something or someone deciding against something else. And it's like, it just feels like with the Nine of Cups in reverse, the World in reverse, yeah, someone maybe was guided to not use their own, maybe like something that would have had this person deciding to not move forward, or, you know, discerning what they wanted to do, or maybe there was key information held from someone, and it feels like it had a big impact on how, like, if a seed was going to grow or if something was going to be successful. Yeah, the King of Pentacles came through too. Like, maybe there was someone that, I don't know. Can we clarify Strength in reverse? Yeah, the Devil. Like, I feel like someone maybe tempted another person to give up like some sort of control here with the Emperor in reverse, or maybe there's someone that it just feels like some person, it's like maybe they were pushed into making a deal with the Devil, or maybe they were pushed into acting out of character, or acting, you know, being like, acting like a coward is what I'm getting, or like, I don't know why this is coming through, but yeah, someone having their defenses down, or maybe even someone being convinced that, you know, they aren't in a strong position, so they really should take this deal, or like they should, I don't know, maybe someone wasn't shown all of their options, or what is this? Why is the, what do I need to ask? What was the intention of the Hierophant in reverse? Yeah, we have the Tower. It's almost like someone built up a tower, or knowingly led someone else to build on a lie or build on non-truth. Like, I feel like they knew that they were going to cause a tower moment for someone, or that they shouldn't sign some kind of contract, or they shouldn't, you know, that a deal wasn't good, or that, you know, this probably wasn't a good move. Okay, so what information was withheld? King of Wands. Maybe a certain person's agenda, like maybe someone was really acting in their own best interest, but trying to make it seem like they were doing something in someone else's best interest. But what information was withheld? Queen of Pentacles. Can we get one more? Seven of Cups in reverse, Eight of Cups. It almost feels like what is going on here? Maybe there was a couple, and if you saw the truth, or like if you saw what was behind, I don't know, the intentions, it feels like you would have walked away. It just feels like if you knew something, you would have walked away. Or if someone else knew something, they would have walked away. What was the overall injustice here? Yeah, High Priestess in reverse. I feel like someone's intuition, I feel like there's a secret. Yeah, it's Six of Swords. Like maybe that they should move on from something, or maybe that someone was in this position where they were moving on. But yeah, it feels like someone's intuition was blocked, or someone was maybe told not to trust their intuition. Maybe their intuition told them something like, I don't know if this is like right, or I don't know if this is a good option, but I don't know if this is a good decision. Or maybe people were like warned that if they, maybe someone was talked into doing something that wasn't the right thing to do. And maybe they were talked into like keeping a secret. I don't know why this is coming through in a reading where I'm meant to tell you what you're meant to learn. Because it feels like a situation, maybe that's important for you guys to hear about, is coming through. Why is the Nine of Cups in reverse? Two of Swords. I just feel like the truth of, I feel like someone was put in a position where it wasn't clear what the best option was, but if they maybe had the full truth, it would have been obvious to them that they didn't want to do something. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to ask some more questions because I feel like I need to divide out the energies. So I need to ask who this message is for. What role did the person who this message is for, what role did they play? Like, what were their actions in the situation? For the listener, Spirit, what was the listener's actions in the situation? What role were they in? Okay, Queen of Pentacles in reverse, the Hierophant in reverse. The Hermit, Virgo, the Magician in reverse. Yeah, this is something I was getting, is that I'm wondering if there was some kind of partnership that was not disclosed, or maybe there was someone who, maybe it seemed like they were acting alone, or like, you know, that they were in this secure place, or that they were in a position where you should listen and trust them. But with the Magician in reverse, it almost feels like there was some kind of an illusion. What was the role of the person listening? King of Cups. Yeah, it's like someone, so yeah, I don't know. I am kind of getting that they're speaking about, to you, I guess, like maybe you came across like you were coming from an emotionally pure place, or, you know, that you weren't following, that you weren't under someone else's, like, not control, but I don't know. It almost feels like someone thought that someone else was more independent, or that what they were doing was coming from within. Okay, what role was the person listening playing? Yeah, Temperance in reverse, Sagittarius, King of Pentacles, the Moon in reverse. Yeah, okay, we have the Three of Swords, Lovers in reverse, Justice, and then the Five of Cups. Yeah, so I feel like you're coming from this position, and if this is something that happened to you guys, and maybe you resonate more with pile number 2, that might be a message. But I feel like someone did something that they regret. It feels like someone made a decision that maybe was a betrayal for someone that they care about. But yeah, it just feels like someone did the wrong thing. Someone made the wrong decision. It feels like someone maybe made a logical decision over a heart-centered decision, and now they're really regretting that. Temperance in reverse. I feel like someone was unstable, or maybe someone was rushed into a decision, or someone, instead of I feel like maybe there was another person that wanted to make their own decision. I wonder if someone took the guidance of someone else, or there was some sort of collusion where someone was talked out of maybe doing something on their own, or yeah, like that caused financial instability for someone else, and it feels like it's a betrayal. What is this Hierophant in reverse? Page of Swords in reverse. Yeah, it just feels like someone didn't ask questions, or someone was encouraged to not ask questions, to not question someone's knowledge about something. Maybe being reassured that this person was of good character, or that they would make decisions with them in mind. Like, I feel like someone was convinced to trust in someone, or trust that someone was acting in their best interest. Why do we have Temperance in reverse? The Queen of Cups. This is like kind of wild, but I'm wondering if someone intentionally created a state of imbalance within someone so they would be in a position of need with the Six of Pentacles. Or maybe there's an energy here of putting someone in an unfair dynamic, like putting someone in a dynamic where it's not an equal situation, where maybe one person is, you know, tied, where one person is subservient, or one person has the upper hand or has control, is what it feels like, rather than someone being able to go within and listen to their own decision-making factors. Why do we have the Magician in reverse? Yeah, it's almost like maybe someone was talked into this, talked into not listening to their intuition, or maybe they were even talked into, again, like not believing in, not being confident in themselves. Yeah, like maybe someone's like, someone had their fears used against them. Can we clear for the Moon? Sun. Yeah, maybe some, like, just, it feels like the truth was obscured, or okay, you guys, I have to keep digging into this because I'm just a little bit confused by this message, or it feels like a complicated situation. What advice was given here? What was the advice? What was the intention behind the advice given in this situation? Okay, the Two of Pentacles, the Devil. Yeah, the Fool here. It's like to get some, yeah, like I feel like someone gave someone advice that, you know, that they should move quickly, that they should move forward confidently. And I feel like someone was also told that there would be like a victory, that they should jump right in, and maybe telling them that it was going to take them out of some kind of a lack, or maybe that the loss would only be temporary. But it feels like with the Devil here, someone was maybe convinced into doing something that was like short term, or maybe went against their values, or didn't feel right to them. And maybe it was like something that would kind of be entrapping to them. But someone was encouraged to jump right into something rather than looking before they leap and checking for potential like red flags or anything like that. All right. So they were given that guidance. What was the true but why did someone give them that guidance? If there was, what truth was not, like what was hidden from this person that was getting advice as well? 10 of Wands, what was hidden? The Hermit. Death in reverse. The Moon. Yeah, Six of Pentacles, the Hanged Man. King of Cups in reverse. Yeah, I feel like someone was emotionally manipulative here. What was hidden? Fool. The Ten of Swords. Wow, the Four of Swords. The Three of Wands. What was hidden? Okay, well, the Ten of Swords really speaks about like a betrayal, or like maybe there was a hidden betrayal or a hidden, there's a feeling here of jumping into something without knowing what it is, or without being afraid of like a certain negative ending occurring. Like maybe someone was told that they should, you know, be relaxed or not worry about something, but with Death in reverse, it makes me feel like it's a situation that wasn't going to change, or it's a new beginning that wasn't really going to change anything, or wasn't going to create any expansion. And if anything, it's like with the Six of Pentacles again, it's like I feel like someone maybe voluntarily put themselves in a stuck position, where it feels like they almost gave up. It feels like someone was like talked into, instead of looking at the situation from all angles and like seeing like, you know, holding back, maybe it feels like they freely, you know, surrendered their control or their responsibility in the situation, and maybe now they can't go independent. Why is the Hermit coming through? Yeah, the Queen of Swords. This has to do with someone that, yeah, wasn't able to defend themselves. Maybe didn't know about various factors. Like, I feel like someone was talked out of being independent or listening to their own guidance. That's what it really feels like. Queen of Death. Maybe that something wasn't changing. Yeah, Five of Pentacles. I just feel like someone was talked into maybe taking some kind of, you know, seemingly string-free help in something, but maybe not knowing that that was gonna, that there was strings attached to it. Maybe knowing that, like, not knowing that they wouldn't be able to just move on from it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're in a stuck position. And I feel like they're still not out of the cold. Like, I feel like they're still in this position of lack. What the heck? Okay, that's what I'm getting. All right, so what's the lesson for the viewer then? What's the lesson for the viewer? What are they learning? Five of Swords in reverse. Death in reverse. Five of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. Justice in reverse. The Chariot. Ace of Wands. Temperance. We have the Six of Wands in reverse, the Eight of Wands, the Magician, Judgment. Yeah, I really feel, honestly, like the truth needs to be acknowledged here, because I do feel that someone may have really sabotaged another person unfairly. And yeah, it just feels like with Temperance in reverse, I feel like, and if this is you, I just feel like there's a need to maybe right the wrong, or I feel like there's a need to, like, judgment is here, and I feel like the negative decision is going to be known. I feel like there's no really covering it up, and I'm kind of seeing that what's done in the shadows, or what's done with the Six of Wands, like anything dishonorable, like maybe initially it was something that was moving forward, but I feel like this is a situation where this is like a boomerang, and this is about to create as much or even more upheaval than whatever upheaval you were in the first place. And so this feels kind of like a cautionary tale around making sure that you don't go about things in the wrong way. And like, I just feel like some sort of quick progress is going to be hitting a brick wall. And it almost feels like there's this consequence of not moving in a more measured way, or not going about things the right way, not going through the process of transformation. And with the Eight of Pentacles, it's like it's important that you do things step by step instead of trying to quickly have a win or have some sort of quick turnaround. You know what I mean? I feel like there's just a feeling here of taking the shortcut or thinking that there wouldn't be negative repercussions of some sort of action that harmed another person. And I feel like Spirit's saying like there is, and there's a need to learn that lesson. Maybe that you won't be able to move forward until you learn that lesson. Yeah, this is what I'm getting. The milk and honey card. Like, yeah, like there's a need to go about getting your rewards the right way. What is the lesson here for the viewer, please? You have Scorpio energy, Sagittarius, Cancer, Gemini again. Round and round, TikTok, yeah, clean it up. So what I'm really getting, this definitely is connecting you guys to pile number 2. Like, I feel like pile number 2 might have been the victim of this situation. So if you're listening and you feel like this is like something that happened to you, or you feel like this is an external energy, I feel like there's the reverse here, because I do feel with round and round and TikTok, it's almost like there's a lesson here in not taking desperate action to try to get your rewards, or feeling like you're running out of time with Temperance, like where you're in this rush, and like when you're in a rush and you don't do things properly, I feel like Spirit's almost saying like you're gonna have to revisit it. It's almost like going in a loop, and saying that there's a need to make amends here, or clean up your mess. Like, you're not gonna be able to move forward without cleaning up your mess, and there's a need to learn from this and understand that you can't cheat divine timing. Like, you can't force blessings, or you can't force abundance without honoring like karma, essentially, with justice here. Yeah, and I feel like there's this energy where maybe someone was so swept up in a situation that they just didn't go about things fairly, or they maybe put burden on someone else's plate to try to get somewhere faster. You know, it feels like someone didn't take their burdens, their karmic burdens, or, you know, someone tried to bypass doing things the right way, essentially. Yeah, we have Imagine in reverse. And I feel like, yeah, we have Mending. I feel like there's this need to go back in time and make amends here. Also, to be aware of when your imagination is getting away from yourself, and you're having these, like, maybe you're being tempted by kind of escaping to some fantasy, or you know, thinking that some opportunity is going to make your dreams come true in some capacity, but you're thinking that you're not going to have to deal with the consequences if you do something wrong. Like, I feel like this is the situation. So yeah, okay, let me just get some of these. Yeah, I just feel like you're going to run into a brick wall. Like, there's not going to be success here. And I also feel like there's a message from Spirit that you're just going to go round and round until you deal with this. Yeah, like, you're not being taken out of, you can't avoid change. It's almost like someone wanted some quick come up, or wanted some sort of success without having to properly go through some kind of adjustment time period. And it's like they rush forward hoping that without having to transform, and without having to go through any kind of change, without having to change anything or something. All right, what's the lesson for pile number 3? Oh, I just heard you can't always get what you want, but you find sometimes you get what you need. Yeah, we have caring connections, deceit in reverse. I feel like there's a message here. Yeah, we have contract in reverse. Like, you're not going to get what you want out of this. Also, there's this need to, if there's a need to realize that screwing people over, or being unfair in your connections, or dishonest, there's like a lesson here of putting connection and being genuine with others before, you know, your success, or, you know, like I feel like there's this need, Spirit's almost saying there's really a strong need to reveal the truth if you want to redeem your connection, if you want to save your connection. Yeah, storm warning. Like I feel like there's this energy of accepting that there's going to be, I feel like there's really this warning and encouragement to you that you need to reveal what the truth was and try to not bypass the consequences of your actions. Because I almost feel like there's someone that doesn't want someone to know the truth because maybe they're not going to be seen in a good light anymore. They're not going to be trusted anymore. But I feel like someone did not act in good faith towards another person. And I feel like someone's trying to sidestep the consequences of the truth coming out. Yeah, we have action. Angel. Yeah, I feel like there's this, community in reverse. There's a need here to take right action. I feel like there's a need to honor another person. Like this Queen of Cups, I feel like was coming through from pile number 2. And I feel like if there's any community that you're a part of that maybe encourage you to do this kind of thing, I feel like Spirit's saying like you made this mess. Now you need to take right action to fix it. No matter what it's going to do, you know, no matter what associations you have, like I feel like Spirit's almost saying you need to make this right. Or there will be worse karma. Like there's a little bit of that kind of coming. Because it's almost like you're being warned that the plan isn't going to work out. Like the contract, whatever you wanted through this will not be given. And also Spirit is giving you an opportunity to right your wrongs. And that feels like taking action towards a person that was very loving and genuine hearted towards you, doing the right thing and not caring about what consequences that creates for, you know, what changes that's going to make to a certain group or associations that you have. Also to not worry about, to not feel like you don't want this other person to know the truth because you don't want them to be able to decide to end the relationship with you. I feel like there's a need to take responsibility for the consequences of your actions and to come out with the truth. Like you're really being told to come out with the truth at this point, to make the right decision, to correct your error, to correct your decision. You made the wrong decision. I feel like you might know that now. Maybe you're not getting what you want, but I feel like maybe you're still trying to hide the truth from this person. And I feel like there's a need to really be honest. About what you were involved with, anything you know that wasn't right. Because we have Scorpio here, so I just feel like there's like maybe 8th house, like hidden things, like the things we don't want to face. And I'm even wondering if someone like didn't get recognized in the way they should, or I don't know. I feel like someone might have done something that was dishonorable, truthfully. You know, that really went, like, there was some kind of a betrayal. And someone else is currently taking on the burden of that, like, because I feel like they don't know the truth fully. I feel like someone is giving you benefit of the doubt, but Spirit's saying, like, you can try to get away with that in the moment, but it's just bringing worse karma on yourself. Yeah, so that's what I have for you. If this resonated, you know, hopefully you're still here and don't feel really called out, but that's what I have for you. If it helped at all, if you're able to hit the like button, leave a comment. If anybody feels like you're this person that, you know, is this like kind of Queen of Cups energy that maybe was, you know, kept in the dark about something, or I don't know if you know even, but let me know what's going on. I would want to see, but I just feel like deception is needing to be brought to the light despite our fear of what's going to happen or what instability it's going to create. It's time to take action, make it right. So yeah, make sure you subscribe before you leave, and, you know, good luck in this situation.